Hello, pupils. You're welcome to another wonderful edition of your favorite program, The Classroom in Your Home. A program organized by Lagos State Government and packaged by Lagos State Universal Basic Education Board, LASUBEB. The aim is to ensure that you are academically engaged in addition to what you're learning in school. I am Auntie Fumi, your English Studies teacher, and as usual, I am here with your wonderful teachers.
Hello, children. I am Uncle Agbaje, your mathematics teacher. But you know me as the mathematician.
Uncle Popo is here, your general studies teacher.
And we also have in the house our hard-working sign language interpreter. Together, we are bringing the classroom into your home. Please stay tuned. Pupils, you're welcome to Auntie Fumi's class. In our English Studies lesson today, we will look at the second part of verb tenses. Yes, verb tenses part 2. Okay, before we go into the learning objective for today's lesson, I gave you an assignment. Yes, did you do your own? Are you sure? Then let's do the correction together. You were asked to identify the tenses of the verbs in the following. I purposely gave you one that was not captured in the last lesson. I want to see how resourceful you could be. Maybe you're good at making researches. Okay, so Auntie Fumi got 5 out of 5. What about you? Oh, you got 4? You got 3. You're brilliant, and I celebrate you with this chair. Well done. Now, in today's lesson, I told you that we'll be looking at the second part of verb tenses. And by the end of today's lesson, we should be able to identify verb tenses, and we will also use verbs correctly in their appropriate tenses. In our lesson today, we will learn to identify verb tenses and use verbs correctly in their appropriate tenses. So, let's begin. Your writing materials, sit up, and let's enjoy the lesson. Now, we're starting with the past perfect tense. Okay, that one we saw in the assignment given to us. Okay, so we're starting with that past perfect tense. The past perfect tense is used to show that an action took place before another in the past. I take that again. The past perfect tense is used to show that an action took place before another one in the past. It is formed by using HAD, add, HAD, add, and a past participle form of the verb. Let's look at examples. We had seen him before he left for work. 2 actions are involved here. We had seen him, he left for work. 1 action took place before another in the past. We had seen him before he left for work. Another example, the play had started when I arrived there. The play had started when I arrived there. 2 actions, 1 are taking place before another in the past. The pupils are dispersed by the time the head teacher arrived. The pupils are dispersed by the time the head teacher arrived. Let's note that had seen, had started, had dispersed. The other word used, had, plus the past participle form of the verb. Are we together? Okay, here's another example. The virus had spread before it could be controlled. The virus had spread before it could be controlled. Are we together? Now, let's move on to the past continuous tense. The past continuous tense. The past continuous tense refers to an action that was going on at a time when another thing happened. It was ongoing at a time another thing happened. That is the past continuous tense. You remember the present continuous tense? Okay, that is the past form, the past continuous tense. It refers to an action that was going on at a time when another thing happened. How do you form it? It is formed by using was or were, W-A-S or W-E-R-E, was or were, and a continuous tense form of the verb. Now, here are examples. I was walking when he came to call me. I was walking. That means walking, the action of walking was ongoing when he came to call me. I was walking when he came to call me. While we were singing, that is an action that was going on. While we were singing, the baby fell asleep. While we were singing, the baby fell asleep. Father was watching a movie when he dozed off. Father was watching a movie when he dozed off. The children were idling away when the teacher called them. The children were idling away when the teacher called them. An action was going on when another one happened in the past. Now, the future tense. The future tense. Are we together, children? The future tense. The future tense is used for an action which is about to take place. We use the future tense for an action which is about to take place. It had not taken place. It is about to take place. The action had not been carried out at all. It is about to take place. That is the future tense. It is formed by using will or shall and a verb in the simple present tense form. When you want to form the future tense, you use will or shall, and this will be added to a verb in the simple present tense form. Are we together? Here are examples. I shall go and visit him after the party. I shall go and visit him after the party. Shall plus the verb go expressed in the simple present tense. I shall go and visit him after the party. They will work hard next week. They will work hard next week. Will and the verb go and the verb work. Will and the verb work expressed in the simple present tense. The children will visit their relatives in the summer. The children will visit their relatives in the summer. Still talking about the future tense, an event that has not taken place. Now, let's talk about the future continuous tense. The future continuous tense. The future continuous tense tells us about an action that is still continuing in the future. The future continuous tense tells us about an action that is still continuing in the future. It is usually supported with the phrases shall be or will be. Note that it is usually supported with the phrases shall be or will be. Here are examples. I shall be expecting you tomorrow. I shall be expecting you tomorrow. An action in the future that is continuing in the future. They will be having the training next week. They will be having the training next week. Tola will be sitting next to the president at the seminar. Tola will be sitting next to the president at the seminar. We shall be writing our tests tomorrow. We shall be writing our tests tomorrow. Said they are formed by using shall be or will be with the verb. Now it is activity time. It is activity time. How attentive have you been in the course of this lesson? Are you sure? Then, let's see. The children dash to school tomorrow. The children dash to school tomorrow. The verb to use is go. And I want you to express it in the future tense. Go to be expressed in the future tense. Write only the answer, please. Have you done that? The children dash to school tomorrow. Go. And I want go to be expressed in the future tense. Ada dash when I got to our house. Ada dash when I got to our house. The verb to use is cook. And I want it expressed in the past continuous tense. Something that happened in the past, or when something that was going on when another thing happened in the past. That is past continuous tense. Ada dash when I got to our house. Cook to be expressed in the past continuous tense. Write your answer. Well done. Number 3. The boy dash about the merit of hand washing on the assembly next week. The boy dash about the merit of hand washing on the assembly next week. The verb to use is talk, and it must be expressed in the future continuous tense. The future continuous tense. Have you written your answer? Are you sure? By now you should have 3 answers. So, can we do the correction now? Okay, let's do it. The children dash to school tomorrow. Go in the future tense. Will go. We told you that in the future tense, you make use of will or shall plus the verb in the simple present tense. So that's why we have will go. Did you get that? Then give yourself a tick. Yes. Number 2. Ada dash when I got to our house. Cook. Cook to be expressed in the past continuous. Yes. Cook to be expressed in the past continuous. Ada dash when I got to our house. Was cooking. Yes. Past continuous. The action was ongoing at the time. Yes. And it happened in the past. Ada was cooking when I got to our house. Okay. Did you get that too? Oh, I am blessed to have smart children like you. I'm proud of you. And lastly, the boy dash about the merit of hand washing on the assembly next week. The verb is talk, and it must be expressed in the future continuous. What is your answer? Wow, will be talking. Will be talking. We said in the future continuous, you use the phrase will be plus the verb. Did you get it? Oh, I am proud of you. The boy will be talking about the merit of hand washing on the assembly next week. So, 3 out of 3. Hooray! Let me celebrate you with a cheer. Smart children. Brilliant. You are awesome, totally. Well done. So, for your homework, this is what you do. You underline the verb phrases and state the tenses of the following sentences. Underline the verb phrases and state the tenses of the following sentences. In the next 30 seconds, please capture this assignment and I'll be back to sign off. Having copied the assignment, please ensure you submit immediately. And don't forget to indicate your name, your school, your class, and your local government education authority or your local government area. If you just submit the assignment without indicating your name, your school, your class, there will be no reward for you. So make sure you comply with the instruction given to you. On that note, I say, that's it for today. We have come to the end of the English Studies lesson for today. Yes, we looked at the concluding part of the verb tenses, and it was fun doing that. So it's time for me to hand you over to the mathematician, Uncle Agbaje, for another beautiful lesson in mathematics. Don't forget, Auntie Fumi loves you. Auntie Fumi is always proud of you. Bye.
Hello children, you are welcome to this segment of the program The Classroom in Your Home. It is mathematics time, and that means it is time to have some fun. I am Uncle Agbaje. Today in mathematics we will continue our work on open sentences, algebraic equations. I did tell you in the last lesson that we will have more time to practice, but I trust that you did your homework and you also visited the online assessment and you were able to attempt test 1. Well, we'll continue with open sentences as I have said, and we'll begin with correction to the previous homework. You were asked to solve these equations. 5m minus 4 equals to 6, and in this case m will be equal to 2. Let's see. 5m means 5 times m, so by the time I evaluate this I should be getting 6. 5 times 2, because I'm claiming that m is 2. 5 times 2 is 10. 10 minus 4 gives me 6, and that means that is correct. Let's try another one. This one is like saying I multiply 4 by a number and I add 8. What is the number? The answer is 44. What is the number? So now the answer is 9. That is, T will be 9 for this equation to be correct. But let's see. 4 times 9, that is 36. 36 plus 8, that should give us 44. And 44 is the answer, and that means T is the correct number to fill this. The last one, 7 times something minus 3 is 39. Now we are saying that Y is 6. So let's see, 7 times 6 is 42. 42 minus 3, that should give us 39. I trust that you got all. Give yourself a tick for the ones that you got, and let me celebrate you with a chair. Now, if you're still having problem with solving algebraic equations, you will not have problems at the end of the lesson. Let's look at the lesson objectives. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to solve simple algebraic equations conveniently, and you should also be able to substitute for variables in algebraic expressions. What does that mean, substitute? Have you heard the word before? Well, you'll find out by the end of the lesson, and you'll be able to do it. So, without wasting much time, let us begin with solution of algebraic equations. The first example says that we should solve 5m minus 6 equals 3m plus 4. Now something is different in this equation. Now we have m in 2 places. It is no skin off your nose, my friend. We'll still follow the same pattern of identifying the terms, rearranging the terms to bring like terms together, merging the terms, and then solving till the end. Let's see. Step 1, rewrite the equation. So the equation is 5m minus 6 equals 3m plus 4. Then we will identify the terms. In this case, the terms are 5m, which is positive, minus 6, that's negative. On the left side of the equality sign, remember that every equation has two sides, the left side and the right side. Home, foreign land. Now, on this side, we have 3m and we have plus 4. And so what we're going to do now is to rearrange. Let us bring all the terms that have m to the left side of the equality sign, and then all the numbers to the right side of the equality sign. Let's see. We rearrange like terms. And now we see that in this case, 5m comes down. Now, plus 3m was on the right. Now, if it comes to the left, it becomes negative 3m. Here it is positive. Once it crosses the equality sign, it will change sign, and that is why we have negative 3m. Now, look at 4. This 4 is still going to come down. It's positive. I could have written plus 4, but we don't start an expression with plus. Then this minus will go over to the right side. It was on the left. Now it comes over to the right side, and because it is negative 6, when it crosses over, the sign will change and we'll have positive 6. That settles this line. That is why you have it this way. So when you want to do yours, be aware of where you are picking the number from and where you are taking it to. This is a negative number crossing, it becomes positive. This is plus 3m crossing, it becomes negative on the left. Now that we're here, we have like terms in m on this side, like terms that are numbers on the right side. Now it is time to merge the like terms. Now 5 mangoes minus 3 mangoes, I will have 2 mangoes. 4 plus 6, I will have 10. So let's say 4 plus 6 is 10 on the right side. Make sure you keep it on the right. The equality sign, you can see that they are always under each other. So keep it like that and your work will be all tidy and neat. Now on the left side, 5 mangoes minus 3 mangoes, I have 2 mangoes. So now I'm saying that 2 mangoes, or 2 times m, is 10. That is 2 times a number will give me 10. And you already know that number. But to be on the safe side, we just divide both sides by the coefficient of the algebraic term and the number beside the letter. So that will be 2m divided by 2. On this side, we divide 10 by 2. Now 2 cancels 2. 2 goes here 1. 2 goes in 10 5 times. So what do we have left? We have m is 5. M comes down, 5 comes down. That means that m equals to 5. And that is as simple as that. So the technique is all the same. If the m's are scattered all over the place, or if the letters are scattered all over the place on the left, on the right, just bring everything together on one side, whether the left or the right. Bring all the numbers together to the other side, merge all these like terms, and when you get to this point, divide by the coefficient of the variable, and you will get your answer. Easy peasy, my friend. Let's take a look at another example. This example says solve 4 minus 2k equals to 7 minus 5k. So pay attention here. Again, we begin by writing the expression 4 minus 2k equals 7 minus 5k. Now we identify the terms, and that will be 4 minus 2k. Remember that minus belongs to 2k. The sign is always on the left of the term. On this side, we have 7, then we have minus 5k. Now we can rearrange like terms. So on this side, we have minus 2k is coming down, but 5k was on the right side of the equality sign. Now we take it to the left and it becomes positive 5k. And that is why we have 5k here. I just didn't put the plus because we don't begin an expression with plus. So this minus 5k, the negative 5k, has crossed over to the left and it is now positive 5k. This negative 2k did not cross, so it is maintaining the sign. But on the right side, now 7 is positive and it did not cross, so it will still be positive. But 4 was on the left. Now it is going to cross, and then since it was positive before, now it has crossed, it becomes negative 4. Now this line is very critical, so you have to get the arrangement right. But once you are here, you're home free, my friend. Just merge like terms. 5k minus 2k, that gives us 3k. 7 minus 4, that gives us 3. Now 3 times what will give us 3? You know the answer, but in case you do not know, we divide both sides by 3, which is the coefficient of k. 3 cancels 3. 3 goes in 3 one time. And so we are left with k here, 1, and k equals to 1. And then k is 1. Then we just circle the result. That's our final answer. Now, we're going to move on to another aspect of today's work, and that is substitution. Remember that I asked you at the beginning of the lesson if you know what substitution is all about. Well, you must have heard it, but let's see what it is. Before we go into that, I want you to remember the following about our work in mathematics so far. When we have to multiply a number by itself several times, we will have to count the number of times and put that number on top of, at the top as a power. For instance, we are multiplying 2 by itself 5 times, so we can just write 2 and put 5, a small 5 on top to represent the number of times we are multiplying 2. And we say this is 2 raised to the power of 5. 2 raised to the power of 5. That means 2, it doesn't mean 2 times 5, it means 2 multiplying itself in 5 places. So if it is 2 multiplying itself in 3 places, that is 2 raised to the power of 3. Now, b is multiplying itself in 4 places. That is b with a power of 4. Now, if in algebra I told you we do not use the multiplication symbol, so when we are multiplying a by b by c, it's enough to just write a, b, c, and that's it. So when you see a, b, c like this in mathematics, not English, it means a times b times c. The same thing applies here. A times a, that is a with a power of 2, then times b. So we just write a squared b, or a raised to the power of 2, then b. Now 8 times y, we don't use the multiplication symbol, so we just write 8y. And of course, addition of like terms, 4k plus 3k plus 2k, 4k plus 3k, that is 7k, that is I think 4 kobo plus 3 kobo, then plus 2k, that is 9k. Then this k, we don't usually write 1 for the coefficient. When you see k like this, it means 1k. If you see t, it means 1t. So 4k plus 3k, 7k. 7k plus 2k, that is 9k. 9k plus 1k, that is 10k. Okay, so put this at the back of your mind. We will need it in the substitution problem. Now, this is probably where you've heard about substitution. On the field of play, sometimes a coach may need to change one player and replace him with another. Perhaps the striker is getting tired, or the coach needs more goals. Then he takes out a player that is probably not conforming well with the formation and brings in somebody that makes things happen, like Lionel Messi, and then he gets the desired result. So with mathematics, we do likewise. Sometimes we hit a point in the road where we cannot get an answer, but when we make a substitution, we'll be able to find the final result that we wanted. And so we will be doing substitution in mathematics. Now look at an example problem. This says find the value of 16a if a is 3. Now we know that a is 3. A and 3 are the same thing. So we could substitute 3 for a, or substitute a for 3. If somebody says his first name is Hassan and the second name is Taiwo, so if we call Hassan, we're calling him. If we also call Taiwo, we're also calling the same person, so we could interchange the names. And so if we know that a is 3, we could also interchange the letter with the number. So how do we find the value? How do we solve this? Well, first thing to do is that we write the expression and then we expand it. 16a, remember it means 16 times a. We just don't put the multiplication sign. Now we are going to substitute the variable with the number. We already know that a is what? A is 3. And so instead of writing 16 times a, we write 16 times 3. And that is why they call a variable. A can be any number that we want it to be. So in this case, 16 times 3 is what? 16 times 3 is 48. If we had said that a is 2, then we're having 16 times 2 instead, and that will be 32. And so because the value of a can change, that's why we call it a variable, something that varies. And so the result will also be changing. Okay, so in this case, the answer is 48, but this is about the simplest that you get. Let's look at something a little bit more complex. 48 is the answer here. Let's look at something a little bit more complex. This says, find the value of 2c raised to the power of 2 plus 3a raised to the power of 2b if a is 2, b is 3, and c is 5. Do not let this large expression scare you, my friend. We're going to follow the same procedure, so follow me. Again, we rewrite and expand the expression 2c squared. That means 2 times c squared. That means 2 times c squared. Then this plus comes forward. I use a bracket to separate the terms so that I don't make the mistake of confusing the multiplication with the addition and then the other multiplication. So for each term, I put a bracket. Now 3a squared means 3 times a squared, then times b. I've expanded the expression. Now I can substitute. What is c? That is 5. What is a? That is 2. What is b? That is 3. So let's see how the substitution will be made. On the next line, I come down, bring down the equality sign. So 2 comes down. Now instead of writing c, I write 5 because I've been told that c is 5. So c squared will translate to 5 squared. Then this plus comes down, 3 comes down, multiplication comes down. A, I've been told, is 2, so a squared will be 2 squared. Now finally, this multiplication comes down. Then b, I've been told that b is 3. The next thing for me to do will probably be to evaluate everything. Now, I start with this one because according to the rule of PEMDAS, I don't know if you're aware of PEMDAS, it means that when I have many expressions like this to evaluate, I have to solve what is in the bracket. Maybe you know it as BODMAS, the bracket first. So I have to find the answer of this bracket and the answer of this bracket before I add. I don't just add 5 to 3 and no. I have to take each bracket separately. And now in the bracket, I have to do the exponentiation, the one that has the power. I will solve that first. I will not multiply 2 by 5 then now find the answer squared. No, I'll first do the one with the power. So the parentheses, then the exponentiation, the one that has the power. Now 5 squared is 5 times 5, that is 25. 2 squared, that is 4. Every other thing comes down. 2 comes down, this is 25. 3 comes down, this is 4. 3 comes down. Then I will now solve each bracket. Now 2 times 25 is 50. In this bracket, 3 times 4 times 3, that is 3 times 4 is 12. 12 times 3 is 36. The answer for this bracket is 36. Then this plus will come down. So you can see that everything flows down naturally. So you don't want to lose any of these signs or any of the brackets until it's absolutely necessary. Now here I have 50 for the bracket. I don't need to put the number in the bracket anymore. So I have 50, then I have 36. I can now add together 50 plus 36, merge the terms, that is 86, my friend, and I can circle the result. 86 is our final answer. Now I'm sure that you are ready for one of your own, and that is coming right up. You have to find the value of 3a minus 2b if a equals to 5 and b equals to 3. You have 1 minute. Begin. Alrighty then, I believe that you are done and that you found it very easy. Well, let's just walk right through it together and see whether you are correct, my friend. Now, 3a minus 2b, the first thing that we do is that we rewrite the expression and we expand it. And so 3a is the first term of this expression. So I expand that and put a bracket around it so that I do not spill it over to the next term. Now, 3a, I need to know what that is. 2b, I need to know what that is before I do the subtraction. So 3a means 3 times a. 2b means 2 times b. Then we are told that a is 5 and b is 3. So I just bring every other thing down. Equality sign comes down, 3 comes down, multiplication comes down, but I know that a is 5. So instead of writing a, I replace that with 5. Minus comes down, 2 comes down, multiplication comes down. But instead of writing b, I write 5. Now I will have to evaluate each term inside each bracket to know the value for each term. So for 3a, that will be 3 times 5, and that will be 15. This minus comes down for 2 times 3, which is 2b. That is 2 times 3, and that will give me 6. Now 15 minus 6, of course, I will merge the terms, and I'll get 9. I circle the result. I believe that that is what you got. Excellent job, you, my friend. But this is not the last of it. You will have enough to practice with the homework that is coming up right about now. I want you to put this down in 30 seconds, and I'll be right back to sign off. Begin. Alrighty then, that has been it for the mathematics lesson. I hope that you enjoyed yourself. It's time for me to hand you over to Uncle Popo for the general studies lesson. Till I come your way in the next class, please remain wonderful mathematician. Bye bye now.
Hello pupils, you are welcome to General Studies class. I am Uncle Popo. Let's open today's lesson the usual way we've been opening our lessons. Uncle Popo is here. Your response is, I am also here. Then when I say we are here together, then you say 100% attention. Uncle Popo is here. Good. We are here together. 100% attention. Excellent. 100% attention is what I want you to give me in today's lesson. Our subject for today is social studies. Our subject for today is social studies, and today we have an interesting topic to be treated. Before that, when somebody falls sick and is being taken to hospital, I believe the doctors or nurses will give such person medicine or drugs. And let me tell you this, we have some drugs that are good and legal, while we have some drugs that are illegal and are not good to be used at all. So today, we shall be looking at those drugs that are good for our body and those ones that are not good to be consumed by any human being. So our topic for today is effects of substance abuse. Effects of substance abuse. The learning objectives. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to list the major health effects of drug abuse and identify major socio-economic effects of drug abuse. So, when we talk about drug, what do we mean? Now, a drug is a substance used to treat an illness or modify a chemical process in the body. In one word, a drug is a substance used to treat an illness. Now let's look at, we have different kinds, these typical examples of what I'm talking about. So some drugs are given to people by doctors to make them healthy, while some other drugs are illegal. Let's look at this. Now you can see this is a professional, a medical personnel prescribing drug for patient to be used. This is all right because it's been prescribed by the medical officer in line. So we can say this is good. Let's look at another one. Now you can see this is not good enough. It is not legal because it's not medical personnel that is prescribing the drugs to be used. Just went ahead to buy the drugs, maybe from nearby kiosks or people around. So this is not good enough, because for you to use certain drugs, it needs to be prescribed by the doctor, pharmacist, or the professional in that field, not you personally going down to buy the drug you wish. That is not good at all. This means that it is against the law to buy, sell, or use them. That means drugs that are not prescribed, it is against the law to buy, to sell, or to use those drugs if it is not prescribed. Anyone that uses a drug wrongly has abused it. If you use drug wrongly, that means you have abused the drug. We can say it is drug abuse. We are talking about the kind of drug given to a person without doctor's prescription, and you use it on your own will. That means you have abused the drug. Now, like this is somebody making use of the drug illegally. Drug abuse, as I've said, is the taking in of drugs and other substances without the advice and prescription of doctors, pharmacists, and nurses. That's drug abuse, taking in of drugs and other substances without the advice and prescription of doctors, pharmacists, and nurses. That's drug abuse. Like this just example, no doctor's prescription, so he's taking the drug. That's drug abuse. Examples of abused drugs. Let's look at some examples. Some examples of drugs often abused are, let's look at them. The first one, cocaine. Cocaine is one of the examples of abused drug. This is not good for human at all, but we see how some people taking cocaine and it causes some damages to their body and to their body system. So cocaine is one of the drugs that has been abused. Another one is caffeine. An example here we have coffee and cola nut. I know some of you have been looking at it, that how is coffee and cola nut an abused drugs. Some do take this kind of drugs excessively and they use it for different motives. Some will take it that they don't want to sleep and they take it in excess, or the cola nut to perform the other side of the function it's meant to perform. So it's an abused drug. So we've talked about this. And another one is nicotine. There we talk about cigarette. I think you will have seen some people maybe in the movie or in the streets taking cigarettes. This is an abused drug. It's not good for human consumption. And next one is heroin. This is another example. We have some that are taken, and after being injected, their body system starts functioning in the other side. They start misbehaving or not functioning normally. So heroin is one of the examples of abused drug. Indian hemp is another one. Indian hemp, and in some parts of the country, some call it marijuana, and in some places they call it Igbo. So all these, this one too is an example of abused drug. It's not good at all for any normal human being. Likewise, codeine. This is found in cough syrup, and it's meant to cure cough, but some do take it excessively to perform other function that is not supposed to be. Some will just take it, and after taking it, their body system start working abnormally. So codeine is one of the examples of drug abuse. What are the health benefits of substance abuse? Now, health effects of substance abuse. Some major health effects of drug abuse or substance abuse are, let's look at the effect, or what will come up on the person that taking these drugs that are not guided by law or supported by law. Cheese and crumbs. When we talk about cheese and crumbs, that is talking about unnecessary cold from the body. And talking about crumbs is we are saying the contraction of the muscle that will make somebody to feel tired or fatigue. nausea too. Somebody will start feeling sick as if to vomit. That's another effect of drug abuse on people. Lack of appetite after taking those drugs that are not legal. Some will lack appetite. They will not feel like eating. The food that's supposed to be eaten by a normal person, they will not feel like eating, and they will prefer taking those drugs. And this will have effects on their body system. Next one is loss of weight. You start saying the person losing weight, that people will start examining or looking at the person as if somebody is sick. Just because of taking those hard drugs, the body system will start working negatively, and it may cause the person losing of weight. Increased blood pressure. It's likely for the person to have blood pressure because of the hard drugs or those illegal drugs that is taken. It will affect the body system and it will cause blood pressure. Next on the line is convulsion. That's another effect of it. Damage to lungs and vital organs. Those drugs are not good for human consumption, as I've said, but people taking it, it will damage the lungs and vital organs. That is why Federal Ministry of Health warns that smokers are liable to die young. Not that they are praying for smokers to die young, because their lungs and vital organs of the body will be affected and they are likely to die young. So damage to lungs and vital organs. Next one is health problems like chronic cough, heart attack, cancer, respiratory infection, insomnia, that's sleeplessness, brain damage, stroke, and so on. All these are also the effect of drug abuse, the health effect of drug abuse. So next one is possible that after everything, the person may just die untimely. So you can see that the health effect of these drugs, illegal drugs, is not something that we should encourage, because somebody might die untimely. So now let's look at socioeconomic effect of substance abuse. We have looked at the health effect, the socioeconomic effect now. So major socioeconomic effect of drug abuse, we are still talking about the effect of drug abuse. Number one is disorientation. The person may not be able to fit in the society properly, may be working negatively, and people will start avoiding such person because of that. Anxiety, this is talking about restlessness, the kind of way the person will be behaving, will be talking or doing his own things will be different to normal human being. So because of the restlessness, poor school performance. If the person is a student, it's likely for the person to have poor school performance because the body system will not work effectively again and may not cope with the academic activities of the school. And as a result of that, it will lead to poor school performance. Truancy. The person may not decide because of the drugs. At times, the person may feel sick, may not go to school today, tomorrow, and like that, the person become a truant because of the effect of the drug abuse on him or her. Incoordination, that's another thing. I know maybe on the road you'll have seen some people maybe that into this drug abuse. You see them, the way they do things, the way they walk, the way they talk, you see that this person is not coordinated. So all these are the effects of drug abuse. We have talked about the health effect and the socioeconomic effect of drug abuse on people. So it's time for evaluation. I have just few questions for you. The first question, what is a drug? The second one, anyone that uses a drug wrongly has dash it. I think I talked about that. Third question, list 2 examples of abused drugs. Number 4, state 2 health effects of substance abuse. And number 5, state 2 socioeconomic effects of substance abuse. You have just 45 seconds to attempt this. Your time starts now. Eyes on me. Uncle Popo is here. So let's mark together. The first question, what is a drug? A drug is a substance used to treat an illness. If you write that, you still get your full mark. Or modify a chemical process in the body. So that's definition for drug. Anyone that uses a drug wrongly has what? Has abused it. List two examples of abused drugs. There we talked about cocaine, caffeine, nicotine, heroin, Indian hemp, codeine. And we still have some examples. The common drugs that they are using wrongly now, tramadol, Refnol, and so on. So, stage 2 health effects of substance abuse. Chills and cramps, nausea, lack of appetite, increased blood pressure, untimely death, and so on. 2 socioeconomic effects of substance abuse could lead to disorientation, anxiety, truancy, poor school performance, and so on. All these, if you got everything correctly, you deserve to be celebrated with a cheer. Good. That's it for today. Until next time, next lesson, Uncle Popo says, keep on studying. Bye.
Dear pupils, we have come to the end of another beautiful edition on the classroom in your home.
Beautiful packaged and wonderful indeed. It's been exciting for us teaching you, bringing all these new lessons to you. We hope that you have enjoyed yourselves as well. Now remember that practice is the mother of perfection.
Yes.
In order for you to be perfect at what you do, you need to practice all that you have learned. So for this reason, we have put together a plethora of online assessments for you to practice with. You can access these tests using the link bit.ly/LASUBEB-tests. The link again is bit.ly/LASUBEB-tests. These tests are our way of knowing how well you are performing because we're interested in monitoring your progress.
Taking the online assessment is based on if you have access to Android or smartphones. If not, you don't have a problem. Just send your questions, your comments, and your homework to 081 50 86 5663. Please do not call that line. And when you're sending your assignments, make sure you indicate your name,
Your school,
Your class,
and your local government education authority. That is the only way by which you can be identified and rewarded accordingly.
today's lessons are on Lagos UBEB YouTube channel for you to watch over and over again at your own preferred time. Subscribe to Lagos UBEB YouTube channel to get notification when new videos are uploaded. The classroom in your home could be watched live on Facebook. The same time airing on television through the page showing on the screen.
Until our next edition, when we shall meet again on another beautifully packaged The Classroom in Your Home, make sure you do your homework.
Wash your hands regularly.
keep practicing and keep studying hard. But above all, stay
Stay safe.
safe because at LASUBEB,
We leave no child behind.